everyone, and welcome to my third Flosstube. It's great to have you here, yeah, I'm looking forward to updating you on my news. So first up, I've just had my new fabric arrive from Nicole at Afterglow Workshop on Etsy. I'll put a link to her shop in the comments. So she has designed this fabric specially for next year's Dragon Stitchalong, which is really exciting. It's the first time I've had a custom fabric made for one of the Stitchalongs, actually designed for it. So here it is. I'll show it off to you. Here we are. It's very difficult to catch the colours, but it's beautiful, sort of pinks and yellows merging into each other. Quite a bit brighter, I think, than it's looking on the screen there. Let's see if I can catch colours. I'll sort of meander it around a bit. So this is called Dragon's Breath. It's not for sale at the moment. It's going to go on sale when the Stitchalong goes on sale, which will hopefully be on October. I was really excited when that arrived in the post from America, and I wanted to film it now because I feel like a bit of a model, sort of flirting around with the fabric. I wanted to film it now because obviously once it's got the design stitched on it, then I won't be able to show you until the end of next year when the Stitchalong's finished. So I thought, well, this is the chance to show off the fabric while it's not stitched on. So I'm going to try and find a mailing tube, and it just looks so much brighter once I look down at it. Oh, there, at that angle you can sort of see the brighter pink thing. It's very pretty. So I'm going to try and get a mailing tube and send it on to Angie, my wonderful model stitcher, who is going to then start stitching up dragons, which is really exciting. So yeah, that's great. I have got a couple of new patterns to share. So first up was a request for my golf pattern that I already had, and the golfer was wearing trousers, and this woman messaged me and wanted to have the golfer wearing a skirt. So I've done that. So I've now got two golf heart patterns, the one with the golfer in a skirt and another one with the golfer in trousers, so hopefully that suits most golfers. These are part of my sketched heart series, which I've got quite a lot of. I've also got quite a few people waiting for hearts that they've requested, patiently waiting because I'm still flat out working on Stitchalong, so there's not that many other patterns getting done. One day that'll be finished and hopefully there'll be some more hearts. I have quite, if you're into sport, I have quite a lot of other sport patterns as well, so you can have a look at those. And for the cat fans, I have a new cat pattern. This is my new cat poem that I wrote to go with the dog poem that I already had, and I'll put that up in a minute. So this is the cat poem. I thought I'd read it out in case you can't read the writing on the screen. It says, meow as if no one can hear you, sleep in each small shaft of sun, stalk through the garden so quietly, chase every mouse just for fun, purr like you could purr forever, rub against the legs of your friends, curl up with the people who love you, explore like the path never ends. And I've done it in two versions, with meow spelt M-E-O-W and meow spelt M-I-A-O-W. We had a fun discussion about that in the group when I was asking how people spelt it, because I think the M-E-O-W is the American way, which is becoming more common now, but I had sort of been brought up with kids' books with the other way. So I've done two versions. I've learned that French and Spanish cats meow in a different way again, so you've got to check that you can understand the language that your cat is meowing in, but hopefully everyone can therefore adapt the poem as suits, with those spellings available. And that was the inspiration for that, was my dog poem piece that I've had up for a long time, and that's very popular, so I've always wanted to do a cat sort of companion to it. I didn't write the dog poem. I've never found out who did write it, but it's rather lovely. it says, bark as if no one can hear you, catch every ball on the fly, wag till you knock something over, sleep on a sofa nearby, jump like the sky is the limit, sit by the fire with your friends, stay with the people who love you, run like the road never ends. So that's the dog version, which is rather lovely. And then I have a new pattern in the latest issue of X-Stitch magazine. This is Nessie with singing I'm a Believer. It's in this issue is the Myths and Legends issue, and so all the designers had to do a myth or legend from their country. So you've got all different myths and legends from around the world, which is quite nice. So I picked Nessie. I decided to use the word country in the broadest sense, since I'm on the south coast of England, and obviously Nessie is Scottish. But yeah, it was a fun design to do, and it's really nice to see the photographs made up of it. So that pattern's available in the magazine. I'll include a link down below, and there's an offer code as well for the magazine that I'll put in, and I will make this pattern available in my shop at a later point. So update on the wonders of the Hubble Space Telescope Stitchalong. So the third instalment came out on Saturday, which is the engraved hourglass nebula. So it's a really colourful instalment this time. It really glows with the reds on this one. So it's seen a couple of people finished it already, which is amazing. And yeah, it was great to see everyone's excitement over it, and you know, you really start to see the piece taking shape a little bit now that there's three instalments on it. So a bit about the engraved hourglass nebula. This is another planetary nebula. So we had a planetary nebula in part 1, which is the one not quite next to part 3. There was the galaxy in between the two. So a planetary nebula is nothing to do with planets. It's gases emitted by a dying star in the last stages of its life. Just gonna have a little drink. So as the star dies, it puffs out its outer layers, and you're left with this white dwarf, incredibly dense shell of the star left behind. So this engraved hourglass nebula, it has a beautiful name. It's just such an amazing thing, and it's what's called a bipolar planetary nebula, because it's, as you can see, it's got these two lobes on each side. It's not a sort of symmetrical type structure, and there's still a lot of theories on how bipolar planetary nebulae are created, and nobody really quite knows yet, which is always exciting, because it's just exciting to wonder what will be discovered. So there's a theory that might be that they're binary stars. A lot of star systems are actually binary stars, and that the second star may disrupt the output of material from the dying star and channel it into the sort of the two lobes. But in this case, there hasn't been a second star discovered yet. So it could be, maybe it's something else someone will discover. In the centre, it's got this extraordinary eye in the centre of the nebula, and in the middle of that is the white dwarf star. There's a white stitch representing it, that created the planetary nebula, and that's also a bit off centre for the nebula, and no one knows why that is either. So it's a very beautiful and very mysterious sight, and it's 8,000 light years away, so that means we're looking at it how it was 8,000 years ago, which is quite a long time ago. I think that's before they built Stonehenge and so on. So yeah, that's really, really nice to learn about that. I enjoyed learning about that when I was writing up for the piece and drawing it. So I hope, yeah, everyone enjoys stitching that, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the updates. We've still got people joining the Stitch Along all the time as well, which is great. So it's really nice seeing all of that in the Facebook group. I am still working pretty much flat out on the James Webb Stitch Along. it's going well. I've got all the pictures are in place. It's in this hexagonal structure like the James Webb mirror, so there are 18 pictures. So I've never done anything like that before, because I've never been mad enough to do 18 astronomy pictures in one pattern before. So it's incredibly complex, and I am a bit at the stage of no, why am I doing this to myself? Which I go through with pretty much every stitch along at about this point, and I decided, man, because it's too complicated and impossible, but I'll get through it. So I've done the color palette for the whole piece. I'm now going through each image individually, which is taking about an hour per image, editing them, refining the colors further. I added back in a color once I've got 6 more images to go in that phase. Then once that's done, I'll reassess the entire piece. I might eliminate another color or two depending on what I've taken out of the individual sections. So I think it's going well. It's just quite intense. I'm trying to do it to really keep working at it, because I want to get it done so that my model stitcher can start stitching on it, because it takes a long time to stitch with any corrections and everything, and obviously the model stitchers need time to do it, so that's why I'm really sort of working flat out on that. Otherwise I might have taken some more breaks on it, although that said, I've got so many threads laid out on trays, which is kind of getting in the way, and also it keeps my mental focus running, doing it all at once. You remember where you are. I think once you sort of take a break a bit longer, then you sort of lose track of it a bit more of where I was. So yeah, it's good fun, very intense concentration, but I think you're all going to love it, I hope. So yeah, that's really good. Still on astronomy, people have said they enjoyed the little space chat, so I'll keep that up. So in current astronomy news, well, the main current astronomy news here in Britain is that it's been horrendously cloudy for at least the last month. It has just been so bad. I'm looking out into the garden now. It's actually stopped drizzling, but it's solid grey cloud. So I haven't used my telescope for the whole of March, and now the clocks have changed into summertime because it's spring, even though the weather hasn't noticed. And so it's obviously, I'll probably just put it away soon, because I'm not able to sort of be up in the middle of the night. So we haven't seen very much, but what's on the news the last day or two, they've had on the news about this planetary parade, and about there being 5 planets up in the sky in a row, which is Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus. So I haven't. Obviously, I say it's been cloudy. This is one of these funny news stories. We seem to get this quite a lot in astronomy now. I don't know who puts these stories out. It's good. It gets people looking at the sky, but they can be a bit misleading when they say things like all the planets are in a line, and all the planets are actually always in a line because they move around a line on the sky called the ecliptic. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. So in this case, they're all on the western half of the ecliptic as we're seeing them. So it's quite a big arc. They were saying you couldn't really photograph them all in one. So obviously if some are on the east and some are on the west, then they'll be more in an arc across the sky than a straight line. But Mars, Jupiter and Venus have been in the sky 4 months, and they're the ones you're going to be able to see. So in that sense, it's not really a new thing. Adding Mercury into the mix is a planet that can be seen with the naked eye. I've never actually seen it yet, still, with the naked eye. The only time I've seen Mercury is when I went to an astronomy meetup, and they were watching the transit of Mercury through their telescopes, and I got to see that, and that was really great. And it really emphasised how small Mercury is compared to Venus, because I projected the transit of Venus myself a couple of times, and you just wouldn't be able to do that with Mercury with simple binoculars because of the magnification. This is projecting with binoculars. Never look at the sun through binoculars ever. So that was really nice to see Mercury on that. So Mercury is always very close to the sun, so it'll be in the lighter sky, and it's tiny to look at, and it's obviously further away from us than Venus, so it's hard to spot. It's doable, and hopefully one day I'll see it. Then there's Jupiter, which I've heard is still in the sky. I haven't seen it for a month because of this insane cloud. It'll be last time I saw it about a month ago, it was getting quite low. It was fading because it was going into the twilight, or going into the lighter horizon, I mean, near the sun. But it's still up, they're saying, until about 8 o'clock if you actually have a night without cloud and you can see lower in the horizon. Mars is further up towards the zenith of the sky, which is a bit straight up, a bit further around to the west. It's been fading for months, and that's why I haven't commented on it in the videos yet, because it's not really something you're going to be able to pick out if you don't know what you're looking for. Once you know, then it's quite clear, but it's not standing out against other stars at the moment, so I can't really sort of easily point out on a video where it would be. So what you need to do really is to look out for Venus, because Venus is up, it is rising, it is quite a bit further away from the sun now than it was in the last video, and it is just looking absolutely stunning. It shines through light layer of cloud, which has been helpful, and it's just this beacon in the sky in the west in the evening. You really can't miss it. You'll be able to see it anywhere, even in a light polluted city, if you haven't got a building in the way of it. It's absolutely magnificent, and I'm going to be saying this until June, as it's just rising in the sky higher, and I just love seeing it. So make sure you see Venus if you haven't already. And the moon, the other night we had the crescent moon very near Venus, which was lovely, really, really pretty. And I saw that because the clouds actually cleared enough to see it briefly. So that was really lovely. Yeah, so make sure you see Venus. I have had quite a few people contact me saying before that they saw Venus and Jupiter. So now if it's clear, you'll see Jupiter lower than Venus, but go for Venus. Right, I always go on for a lot once I get onto the subject of space, you can tell, can't you? And last thing is I have a work in progress to show, and it's not cross stitch, because my cross stitch work in progress is still the snowflakes Stitchalong for Christmas, which I still obviously can't show. So my work in progress is crochet, because I managed to get away for a week to Devon, which was really nice. It was freezing and wet, but we didn't get rained on as much as we could have done. Did quite well, and it was just so nice to have a change of scene. So I was going to take my Together bunnies to cross stitch. Well, I did take them, but I ended up just doing some crochet. I haven't done any crochet for a year, and it was just nice to sort of switch off from the cross stitch, because obviously I'm always having to think about the design and model stitching, and it's sort of more work related. So it was, and normally I can't do the crochet for that reason. So here is my progress on my this is Sophies Universe. People into crochet might have heard of this. It was a Stitchalong a long time ago, and it's going to be a blanket, a metre square, in about 50 years time at the rate I'm working on it. But I've done, it was up to only about here I think when we went away, and so I've done all this now. It's very much turned from a circle into a square, and there's so many different details and different stitches. It's a really really fun pattern to follow. This is the book. I've got the whole book, and this is the blanket, although I'm doing the different colour scheme. It is the recommended colour scheme. I bought the kit for the smaller version, because this is the full version. So mine's going to be, it's done with a smaller hook. It's the same number of stitches, and it's going to be a metre square sort of lap blanket one day. I bought this kit and book in March 2020 because I thought, oh, I could do crochet during, you know, the world was shutting down at speed, and I rather innocently didn't realise that everybody else was going to have precisely the same thought, and I was about to be hit by the biggest tornado of kit sales, because I sold rainbow kits already and everybody wanted cross stitch rainbows to go in their windows, and it was absolutely crazy, and so I did not have time to crochet or do anything else during lockdown. So that was amazing. Yeah, anyone who came to me through that or through lockdown, it's marvelous to have you here. So this is the amount of progress I've had since 2020, which is fine. We will get there one day, and it's very, very enjoyable. So I will put that away now, so that I concentrate on cross stitch, and maybe next time I go away I'll do a bit more. So that, I think, is everything. Thank you so much for coming. It's thank you to everybody who's subscribed. I'm still very new at this Flosstube, and it's quite scary. So I really appreciate everything and all the comments and support. So lovely to see you, and I'll see you again soon, hopefully. Bye.